Is anyone going to talk to Kawa?
I would say, yeah, I will, but I'm not very good socially, so...
Well, then let's go together. Too
Okay.
bad. Too bad. Maybe it will become some good of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both of you go and have a chat with Kawa. You find him putting on gloves and he's about to start cleaning the bathrooms of the Gemini Observatory after a group of tourists has just left. And he actually seems to be pretty happy to have a good reason for taking a break before having to do this. When you arrive, he smiles at you and he says, "Hello."
Hey, hello, Kawa. We just want to tell you that Alison Malfi says hi again. She was pretty interesting in your situation there. Are you feeling good and okay? She has a pretty fond memory of you, I might say. And also tonight we will probably go into the verse and deal with some historical stuff. And we know we can count on your discretions if you can keep an eye open. So our body will be exposed in the observatory.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I will make sure that the vault door stays closed. There's 2 vault doors, so even if they open the one from the outside, yours will still be closed until you open it from the inside. As long as they don't break through. But I will create a diversion if they try to get in.
Is there any kind of way he can notify us? Do we totally lose connection with our body?
You totally lose connection with your body.
Okay. Well, I'm just glad you're here to help us with the process.
Also, I wanted to ask you, I know how Alison is doing, but how are Apollo and Artemis doing these days?
They're both fine and they seem to care about each other, so...
I never mentioned Artemis before in the game.
Yeah, well, I will just bluff.
Okay.
Do I know who Artemis is?
No, but you know that in order to create a memory palace when you die, you need to have an Archon and a Diva. And you have not met Alison's Archon yet.
Well, that's it. We need to go to the observatory.
Eric, are you going to learn the Scorpio aura with Apollo like Apollo suggested, or do you want to wait until after you've written the verse?
Oh, I'm supposed to do that.
You're supposed to use the telescope to go to Alison's memory palace.
So it's in order to hide the fact that I only have a Diva, correct?
Yeah.
And what it does again, if people knows that?
Normally, the Hermes resurrect their Archon first and their Diva second. And Neo Hermes are the ones who resurrect their Diva first and their Archon second. And so if people learn that you only have your Diva, they will know you're a Neo Hermes, and the Anubis are likely to want to kill you.
That sounds like a good reason enough for me to learn that.
Does somebody else go with Eric in Alison's memory palace?
That seems like a not Oliver thing to do. Because Oliver's working on a killer robot.
Okay.
I
would probably go.
I will use any kind of excuse to visit that place. And I want to keep an eye on him.
Okay, so Philip, Stefan, and Eric, all 3 of you go, and you find Alison and Apollo playing chess on the lawn of the Lincoln University. And as soon as you arrive, Apollo gets up and they come towards you saying, finally, I was starting to fear that you weren't going to come for my lesson.
Just a question, can I, by looking at the chessboard, judge who's winning?
Make a strategy check to determine who is winning.
Oh, yay!
Well, you succeed. Oh, by the way, Jonathan, now that you have your Diva, you can choose between your light side dice and your dark side dice. But if you choose your dark side dice, you win 1 less experience point at the end of the scenario.
Okay.
Apollo is winning. Apollo is playing the black pieces, and they're the one who have the advantage right now.
Okay, that was just a question, I was curious.
Mm-hmm. So, shall we begin?
I'm here for that.
Alright. An aura is a memory of something you have never lived. Creation. When the Elohims created the first humans, they put a piece of themselves in each of the first humans, and these parts were passed on to those humans' children. Everyone has some traces of Elohim in themselves that gives you talents. Talents that we divas and archons don't have, since we weren't created by the Elohims. Those natural talents are why Alison always gives me trouble at chess, despite the fact that I have been studying the rules of this game since I have come into existence. You can draw out this piece of divinity into a magical field called an aura, and you can put it either within or outside of your body. It can help you or your friends supernaturally. Each human has 6 auras they can learn, but they can only hold 1 out of their body at once. And there is another aspect to the auras that is called the breath. The breath is a memory of the destruction of Eden. At the end of the first millennia, the Archons destroyed Eden and it shook everyone, even the gods. And the memory of that event lives on inside of you. When you remember it, your aura is destroyed and it creates a single supernatural effect for 3 seconds. You can then recreate your aura by spending 2 ounces of karma once again. Does that make sense?
Sort of.
Okay. I'm going to teach you the Scorpio aura. In order to get that aura out, you have to learn to recognize within yourself the part that corresponds to the Elohim in question. In this case, you're trying to bring out the aura of the Scorpio, my second least favorite divinity. Their skill are that of forgery, duplicity, and theft. They are nothing like the rule keeper Libra and the authority that enforces the rules Leo. I remember when the world was young, Scorpio created the vilest creatures in Eden, the discreet and stealthy Scorpios, but also all manners of insects like cockroaches, mosquitoes, and spiders. They also made the invisible germs and bacteria and contributed to creating nighttime hunters and chameleons. Last but not least, Scorpio gave humans their predisposition for stealing and breaking the rules, a thing I hate above all. Their aura is also about breaking the rules, as it allows you to regain 1 ounce of light karma at dusk and 1 ounce of darkness karma at dawn. Normally, you only regain light karma at dawn and only regain darkness karma at dusk. And it is the same with their breath, which also breaks the rules. And it's what we're interested in. For 3 seconds during the breath of Scorpio, you can make use of the opposite type of karma that is usually required in order to activate a power. So you would be able to use light karma to power a dark verse. Thanks to that breath, you can use darkness verses even without an archon, and this will be useful for you to pretend that you are a Hermes. So, try to concentrate on the vilest parts of yourself that have to do with stealth, subterfuge, and things like this. And they start teaching you how to use it, so you can spend experience points to learn.
It's not free?
Yeah. It costs you 12 experience points to learn the aura and the breath.
I want to ask about Artemis. I will say that our friend Kawa asked about somebody named Artemis, and I suspect when he was asking about Apollo, that is the second phase of your Archon Diva duality.
We locked Artemis up in the boiler room. That's why there's a rule that the door to the boiler room must never be opened. She always helped, but during the recreation of the Memory Palace, she interfered with the work that Apollo was doing to recreate my Memory Palace after I died. And Apollo told me that's why there were problems with the structure and why some books were bleeding. Apollo said it was because of her. So we locked her away and I haven't spoken to her since.
I'm not sure that's the best thing to do, to lock up that powerful being away. Isn't that dangerous?
I can still use her powers and use dark karma, and I thought she was my friend. I thought she would help me, but She didn't take it very well when we tried to rewrite the verses, I think. So that's why she has to be locked up.
Okay. Good to know that you can do that.
What about Kawa's family?
She didn't say anything bad about it. I think everything is okay. Anything in particular you want to ask him?
Oh, I just wanted to know how his wife and daughter are doing.
Well, he seems his old self, yeah. He's always the same to me. Grounded and somebody we can count on. Well, we asked him personally to guard our bodies while we are away in Flamel's verse.
He's very resourceful. He'll be able to keep you safe. Philip, while this is happening, is there something you want to do?
Philip mainly went just to make sure that Eric wasn't going to do anything super bizarre, so he's mainly just going there as a bodyguard.
Okay. Eric isn't doing anything weird.
Okay.
All right. Does anyone want to do anything else before the first rewriting starts?
I think I'm good.
Going to unplug that computer.
Okay.
Original
All right.
plan.
You unplug the computer, and somewhere in the Gemini Observatory, Kawa says, "What the
Do I notice that he unplugged a computer?
Yeah, he unplugged something inside of the vault room just before you're about to leave.
Hey, what did you do?
My job? Providing security for us?
That was not useful?
Not that part of it was not, no.
Philip, you can feel the convergence happening as a strong sense of anticipation. The verse inside of you is vibrating as if the words are just waiting to come out. Your Archon manifests to your left and your Diva to your right. The latter smiles at you, looking like a more perfect version of you, and kneels to the floor as if preparing for a jump. Wings of light appear on his shoulders, and he grabs you by the hand, leaping into the sky. All of you feel the pull upwards of your own divas taking flight, carrying you upwards into the sky. You pass through the observatory in an instant, and you soar up towards a blue star in the sky, zooming past a few planets along the way. You fly straight into the star, and its blinding light becomes an underground laboratory. All around you and on the table are glass beakers, flasks, and cylinders filled to the brim with liquids and gases of many colors. Above you is a huge glass retort holding molten metal for some alchemical procedure. To the side is a staircase leading out of the room, and there is a lit fireplace on the other side. There are many papers marked with alchemical symbols, and you are, without a doubt, in the lab of a neo-Hermes. As you look down, you find yourselves inside of bodies that are not your own, and a sense of dysphoria comes over you as you try to get used to your new vessels. Philip, your movements are all accompanied with pain coming from your rusted joints, and the eyes through which you see, Flamel's eyes, aren't as sharp as the ones you are used to. You see the others looking around at themselves too. Oliver is inside of a body similar to his own, a white man with the same nose as Flamel. Stefan and Eric are both inhabiting bodies that have bigger boobs than they're used to, and your nether regions feel very different. There is another person in the room who was talking excitedly about a piece of paper in her hands when you arrived, and currently sports an expression of confusion as to why no one is answering her, and everyone is looking at their hands. This is what she looks like, and this is an official image from the game. This is what Nicholas Flamel looks like.
Oh, dang.
What do you do?
Sorry, what did you say? I'm telling that to the woman that seems to wait the answer.
You notice, first of all, that her head is completely shaved, and there's a tattoo on the top of her head, and she says, now all we have to do is crack the code, and we'll be able to find whatever we're looking for. But that should be easy. Mr. Flamel has the key to the code, right?
Of course.
Can I do a perception check to know what the hell we're talking about?
You don't need to make a check. She is holding a paper in her hands. At the very top of the paper is a symbol of a bird, and then there's a series of numbers below it that looks like this.
Do we recognize that?
Do you have domains for codes? Do you have domains for history?
Yeah, I have history.
Okay. Roll for erudition. +3. Yep. This is a hieroglyph.
Egyptian hieroglyph.
Yeah.
And what about her clothes? Are they common, or she's some kind of...
She looks like she's wearing commoner's clothing, but so are all of you except for Philip and Oliver. You're both wearing clothing that seems to be more expensive than everybody else's. Also, Stefan, since you made research for this, you know the names of 2 of the bodies you're inhabiting. You know that you are inside of the body of Elizabeth Dupont.
Yeah.
And Eric is inside of the body of Maria Sanchez. Both of you are the disciples of Flamel.
Okay.
But you don't know what Oliver's body's name is.
Well, we'll look at Philip. The code, yeah, of course, the code. And that paper, it's just one page, or it's one page? Is it like all parchment, or is it kind of new writings?
The paper is parchment, but it's a very recent parchment. You can tell, because of your knowledge in chemistry, that it was written recently.
Yeah, okay, so it's not some kind of artifact or something like that. Okay.
We'll start deciphering then, right?
It looks like we interrupt something. We spawn at this time at the most peculiar time. So, we look at Nicholas. Does he have something on his hand?
Nicholas didn't have anything in his hand, but all of you are wearing short swords.
I will ask the lady, and what do you think this code means?
What do I think? They didn't tell me because I was the messenger. This way, if I got captured, I didn't know how to break the code. She shows you her head, and she points to it, and you can see that the same numbers that are on the parchment are tattooed on the top of her head. And she says, "You don't remember this? I let my hair grow so that they couldn't find it if I got captured. I wasn't supposed to know how to decode it in case the Hermes found me."
No, we just asked for your opinion. But, okay, it's good to know that you know your place.
I'm sorry, we're in France. I have to remember to do this. Mr. Flamel,
It's not
do you not remember the key that you agreed upon for the ciphers with the other new Hermes?
Who does she look at when she says this?
She looks at Nicolas Flamel.
Okay.
Your French accent is my favorite thing.
It's the only one I can do because I'm French. She asked you to make sure if you remember the code that you agreed upon with the other Neo Hermes.
Well, of course he does.
Of course.
He's a great teacher. Can you give him the paper?
Oh, yeah. She hands it to you.
Decipher it if he... Yeah.
Study it real hard and try and make it look like I know what I'm doing.
Okay. It's just a series of numbers to you.
Okay.
Maybe they are coordinates? Like GPS coordinates? No?
Latitude and longitude were not invented yet.
Is it a mistake, or between some numbers there is no comma?
It's not a mistake.
Okay. So they are in a group of 3s, right?
Yes. You have been trying to decode the cipher for a couple of hours now, and you need to take a break. So Eric and Philip, you leave the room and you go up the stairs to the kitchen to eat something, and the two of you are alone talking about something totally different. Like just trying to think about something else because it's giving you headaches to try to break this cipher.
What kind of kitchen? Just because we are like 500 years ago, so I'm just curious.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't look like it has a lot of equipment. It has a cauldron to cook stews in it and wooden table, but apart from this, doesn't have a lot. It has a few vegetables to the side and bread that is hard as stone on the table.
Okay, so how do you feel inside your new body?
It's a little mind jarring, I'll admit. I think the most jarring part is just not having the reflexes that I'm used to.
Yeah, you're a lot older than you were before.
I like to imagine that the second I got into Nicholas Flamel's body, I immediately looked over where Seven would be and just gave him a look of I understand now.
It's gonna be us one day or the other. Do you have his memories?
I don't think I do. I only remember what I studied about him. Nothing new.
That's pretty interesting. One day or the other, we should write a book about this.
That's it.
That's what?
That's the answer to the code. And I go back downstairs where everybody else is.
Okay, I'll grab a pen, I guess. I'm gonna follow you.
I just come in and just slam my hands on the table and I say, I think I figured it out.
I guess the vegetables are really good. I'm confused. I have no clue what you found.
You mentioned books, and that made me think maybe the code, the answer to it pertains to books here. Perhaps the numbers lead to page numbers and line numbers and words that will give us a sentence or at least a couple of phrases to figure out what the hidden message is.
Is there a book that seems to talk about birds?
There is not.
Is there a book talking about, I don't know, somebody?
So, Stefan, you have read a lot about Flamel. You know that one of the books that he wrote was called Alchemical Hieroglyphs.
Yeah, well, it's all about hieroglyphs, so probably has something to do with his work on that. And there is a manuscript that he wrote. And I will search on shelves if I see it, maybe.
You do find the book called Alchemical Hieroglyphs, and when you start deciphering it, you find this message.
Master Eternal, we have found what you are seeking, but I did, yeah. I finished first two sentences.
That is really good.
Oh my god.
That was really fast, man.
Jeez, dude.
That is not what I got, and yours makes much more sense.
Looking at the proper pages, yeah.
Yeah. You can look at the image for the cipher. I updated it with the solution, but that was really fast, Stefan. I am impressed.
Really fast.
Man, I was studying those shit, yeah. So I'm good at searching the books, yeah.
I'd just gotten down the first word myself. I was like, okay, master. And you're just here's the whole thing. I was like, ah. I thought maybe my screen was lagging and you just saw the answer before I did.
When I see it under the ground among the dead, I just get goosebumps because I remember our last visit and undeads and the horrors that we experienced, etc.
And by the way, the word for woman in French is similar to the word lady. And Our Lady of Paris means Notre Dame de Paris, which is the cathedral.
Yeah.
It is in that moment that your characters hear a crash of wood coming from upstairs and the marching of feet coming towards the inside of the lab. What do you do?
Pull out my sword? Looks like we have sword.
Yeah.
Hi everyone, and thank you for watching this video. If you want to be a part of this story, we are currently looking for more players and game masters to play new games in this setting and on this channel. You can also be a part of the story by having your face added to the cast of characters. I draw all of the images for this game, and you can commission me to make you into an NPC. If you like the style and you want a drawing like that of yourself, or if you want to contribute to the project, you can contact me through the links in the description. Finally, if you want to keep up with all of the adventures on this channel, don't forget to subscribe and click the bell button so you can get a notification each time we upload the next episode of this story. And it would be very nice of you to like and share the video to help this channel grow. Have a nice day, everyone.